Hello, I'm Brian Kirst from Big Gay Horror Fan, interviewing the beyond amazing Adrienne King for Chateau Gur at the first annual Sci-Fan Convention in Chicago. Now, Adrienne obviously is known to everyone around the world as Alice in the first two Friday the 13th films, but her career is so vast and amazing. She worked on Hair and Saturday Night Fever and in the background of Who's Eating Gilbert Grape in a very odd way with Johnny Depp. It's just a vast career, and she's branched out again. She is back and running in Walking Distance, an amazing film with Mel House. So we're thrilled to have her here. She's gorgeous, as always. Adrienne, I'm sure everyone is aware, but your artistic abilities are incredible. Dancing, painting, you really had an amazingly creative life as a child in upstate New York. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, actually, and I hate starting off by telling you it was Long Island.
I did that before.
That's okay, but it's relevant only because I could take the Long Island Railroad into the city when I was very young. No, I know, but it's all cool. It's just because I lost my New York accent, I suppose, a little bit. One or two drinks and it's back. But yeah, since I can remember, my two passions were always acting and art. Acting, most people know, I didn't have a whole lot to say about when I first started because I had a bored mother who stuck me into a commercial at 6 months old. But obviously it worked. I didn't cry or something. And that's where my career started. I glowed even then at 6 months old. But I always remember, since I can remember, just always drawing, always painting. If there was a pencil and paper, I was and when I wasn't acting, I was painting, and if I wasn't painting, I was probably acting because I continued to do so until my mother ran out of energy, and that was school age. And but at the age of 8 years old, I knew definitely within myself I was born to be an actress. I was fortunate enough to be cast in a little thing called the Hallmark Hall of Fame, Inherit the Wind.
It's not a little thing.
No, it wasn't. And even back then at 8 years old, I truly knew how important it was. I was working with George Schaefer as producer and director, who was legendary. Ed Begley, not junior but senior, and Melvin Douglas and Diane Baker. And we had the luxury of rehearsals on a soundstage out in Brooklyn. And it was just an amazing thing because it was at least 2 weeks of rehearsals, and I got to feel like I was part of the whole experience, instead of just being plugged into a commercial or whatever, which is what I was used to. It was then that I knew it was a calling, and I needed to be part of that. And so as soon as I could, I got back on my own and took the railroad into the city at the tender age, probably of like 13 or 14. These days you can't get away with anything like that. But, it was like we were on split sessions back in the 70s or late 60s when those things happened from overcrowding of the baby boom era. So I was literally out of school. We started really early, but I was out of school at 12, 17. I remember it well, and I caught the 112 into the city. And I'd be taking my lessons, all my acting and dancing and singing lessons, and working at the same time. Because if I booked a commercial or I booked a little, under 5, I was allowed to do it as long as I kept my grades up. But meanwhile, I was totally, into the arts, and so when I was a senior, every class I took was an art class. And then I was, I had a fine arts degree at FIT, and while I was doing like the Marlo Thomas That Girl routine, at FIT, I was running around the corner because they were shooting, God, I can't even remember, but one of the soaps, Guiding Light, I think. Yeah, you remember, babe. And it was right around the corner from FIT, God, and and it just worked. And then many, I was cast as my friends who went to FIT and I would dance at the clubs,
I know you've probably answered millions of questions about Friday the 13th. What is the thing that now stands out most to you about that experience? Is it the after effect, all this outpouring of love from the fans?
It's totally. Who else gets a second chance to play? Especially at my stage of the game.
It never looked better.
You're insightful and gorgeous man, and I love you deeply. Right back at you, babe.
My mom is thrilled. That's probably the only woman who will ever say that to me, so she's thrilled.
Well, your mom did a good job.
Thank
Your mom did a great job. But for me personally, I didn't realize that there was still a little hole in my heart from that whole experience that took place that I'm sure everyone knows about, the stalking thing. And I was very content. I thought life was good. And then Peter Breck, he wrote Crystal Lake Memories and shared my story with the fans. And I went to my first real convention in Chiller, I think it was 03 or 04, whatever, and was blown away. People from around the world, 3 generations. I was clueless. I knew I had fans, but I didn't have any idea how devoted they were. And when I shared my personal story with them in the convention at this huge auditorium, you could hear a pin drop, and I truly felt that little hole heal up, and it made such a difference in my life because whatever I went through, it was nothing compared to the stories that I get and hear from my fans about survival and the difference that movie has made in their lives, between all the gay men and women, I just got the most beautiful letter from this black woman who down in the South moved up north, and all of a sudden she said the only thing she had to hold on to when she was going to school were the final girls, and it's what got her through. And I tell you, this letter almost made me cry, and I wrote her back, because I do my own Facebook. I know people don't think some people, B- celebs do that stuff, but I'm more than happy to, I try and keep up. It gets tough, but the stories I get just impact me so greatly that without a doubt, the film it will live forever, or at least until yes, I didn't want to say that, but until the love, man, it lives on forever, and that beautiful energy that I get when the people, I take every moment I can to embrace and give people their time to tell me, because without that, it wouldn't have made sense to me. I kept on wondering, why is this happening to me? But now I know, man. It totally gave me the compassion that I probably needed at that young age, and to be hit so hard with fame so quickly. And then to realize, my God, there is a bigger meaning to all of this. And I know what it is now. And it's to give back, and it's to share, and it's to give the upcoming talent, the writers and the directors and all the passionate young filmmakers that are trying so desperately to get to the next level. If I can help them, if it's within my capacity to do so, I'm there for you. I truly am there for you, because you were there for me. And I think that's kind of what Friday the 13th means to me. I love the movie. I love that it still holds up. I love that it's a springboard. But I love the fans, and I love the love that they give me, and it's right back at them.